have Mr. Congeniality, Elon Musk, who's been lying low as of late and reportedly wants to get out of Doge. Musk says he will dial back his work with the government so that he can spend more time with all 10 of his families.
Jimmy Kimmel showed in with a comic knife and sliced through Elon Musk's illusion like Thanksgiving turkey, shattering his belief that he could glide through another week of ego-driven tweets and Mars-flavored gibberish. After only one joke, Musk had a complete social media meltdown that transformed his typical turmoil into a yoga retreat. He went completely man-child online, slamming the Twitter button as if it were the launch key to rescue his fading public image, while Kimmel marinated, slow-basted, and flamed him on national TV with a smug grin instead of roasting him.
He wants to get out of Doge. Musk says he will dial back his work with the government so that he can spend more time with all 10 of his families. People forget, Elon, he can't spend all his time in Washington. He has a company to run to the ground. In the first 3 months of this year, Tesla's profits have fallen 71%, which I guess is what happens when your CEO turns into white Kanye before your eyes.
In simpler times, Rema throwers liked kitchen appliances, but today he's the person who throws automobiles into space, purchases social media platforms like they're on sale at Target, and quarrels with late-night comedians like he's the main character in the soap drama Bolden the Billionaire. And you know what? He was just served a 5-course supper consisting of basic pie with a hint of late-night venom by 3 lunatic Kimmel.
Does anybody go, Elon, maybe for yourself, but selling a flamethrower, the liabilities, all the people you're selling this device to, what kind of unhinged people are going to be buying a flamethrower in the first place? Do we really want to connect ourselves to all these potential arsonists?
Yeah, it's a terrible idea. Terrible. Shouldn't buy one. I said don't buy this flamethrower. Don't buy it. Don't buy it.
Wait a minute. Let's go back to the video because the greatest is yet to come. I adore it. Let's formally announce it by clicking the subscribe button and keeping an eye out for more intriguing content. You can be certain that the jokes will be hotter than a Tesla battery in Arizona when a late-night host decides he's had enough of your midlife space crisis and Twitter tantrums. Yes, Jimmy Kimmel is America's wry uncle. He has a live studio audience and has no patience for tech bros who think they are revolutionary thinkers because they tweet memes. Kimmel slammed Musk with a sarcastic blow, not just a jab. For a brief period, SpaceX satellites were unavailable.
At the White House this morning, Elon Musk brought a few of his kids to work. Not all of them. He brought them to meet President Trump. See, that's what happens when you get them wet. They multiply.
There has been a "this is the full Elon sequence. I'm smarter than the government" mode makes a stupidly self-important post on the internet, as he always does. What he said, whether it was about AI taking over the world or his own defense of free speech one ego trip at a time, had all the traits of the usual Musk overconfident, undercooked person who is bound to cause a stock price to fluctuate.
Our goal is to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion. From a nominal deficit of $2 trillion to try to cut the deficit in half to $1 trillion, or looked at it in total federal spending to drop the federal spending from $7 trillion to $6 trillion. At a high level, you should think of this as we want to reduce the spending by eliminating waste and fraud, reduce the spending by 15%, which seems really quite achievable. The government is not.
Come on, and Jimmy Kimmel virtually walked up to look at Musk's digital mess and exclaimed, "This you?" Then, with the comedic accuracy of a resentful surgeon and a smirk, he ruined Elon's entire online reputation, as if it were a malfunctioning Tesla autopilot.
I'm really not sure going back to Tesla is going to help anything at all. The reason Tesla is tanking is because people hate him and they don't want to buy his stuff. Him being back is not going to make it better. What he needs to do is sell Tesla to someone more likable, like chlamydia or AIDS.
Kimmel said what everyone had been thinking but was afraid to say in a monologue as sharp as Elon's hairline. A man with a speech and a budget for jokes abruptly left Elon Musk, a man who can buy rockets and brain implants, powerless. The jokes broke him, not just made him laugh. A beautiful blow was one of the big ones. Kimmel brought up Elon's newfound obsession with being the self-proclaimed champion of free speech, pointing out that nothing shouts free expression like removing journalists from Twitter and threatening to sue parodies. It seems that satire is now a luxury, which is why Elon, the self-proclaimed digital messiah, is afraid of people ridiculing him on his platform.
Is a fire festival right now, and Elon Musk is soaking the mattresses. It is so much worse than I think anyone imagined it might be. Elon and his musketeers, you probably heard, they sent an email to all federal employees ordering them to list 5 things they did at work last week. Trump loved this idea. He said it was genius, and he said anyone who didn't respond to the email would be fired or semi-fired, which, what if that was his catchphrase on The Apprentice?
If you're going to spend money on the internet, you'd best learn how to take a joke without being so upset that a reality TV star would say, "Calm down, bro." That didn't escape Jimmy's notice. With the passion of someone who has witnessed too many billionaires mistake personality for power, he lambasted Elon's thin-skinned Twitter set of rules. He jokingly questioned how someone could be emotionally unprepared to deal with a meme yet knowledgeable enough to construct a spaceship. Not only did Kimmel mock Elon's digital weakness, but he also turned his best songs into a highlight movie of comic destruction. Let's talk about the infamous Tesla Cybertruck incident, in which Elon's reputation was damaged more swiftly than the impenetrable windows. Kimmel brought it up as if it were a beloved Christmas memory because there's nothing that signifies innovation quite like a product launch that causes broad secondhand embarrassment. The major objective seemed to be to make Twitter sound like an old energy drink brand or a failed rave, so he also joined into Musk's attempt to rename it something more hip. Yes, nothing shouts credibility when you have lofty fantasies like turning a well-known brand into a letter that sounds like a vowel-less pirate hiccup.
Like this weekend, a young guy came up to me, very nice guy. He said, "You got no love for Elon, bro?" And I was like, I said, "No, I don't, but it's not just Elon specifically. I have a problem with any richest man in the world who comes to this country to casually slander a doctor who devoted his entire life to protecting our children from HIV and COVID and Zika and swine flu and Ebola disease while you're off playing grab ass with Trump and firing rockets into space to prove your penis works." It's just a general.
Kim will even critique Elon's fanboy crusade for a tough work ethic that does not exist in the current workplace, where employees are expected to sleep beneath desks, while Elon tweets dad jokes, sells fragrance lines, and works unpaid overtime. The richest man in the world, who could literally go cry into a pile of rubies, responded tragically, as was to be expected. Instead of crying into a pile of rubies, Elon took to Twitter like a recently grounded teenager, posting defensive posts more quickly than you could say emotional regulation. Each post was drenched in the energy of someone who had just lost an argument in the comment section of their own post. Nothing says completely not bothered like launching a tech crusade over a late-night zinger, so he labeled the jokes unfair, dubbed Kimmel irrelevant, and even threatened to make a new app to cancel him. According to reports, Elon even started subtweeting in Latin, much like a debate student in high school who had just mastered Google Translate. Is he our guide to Mars, the visionary? He seems to be leading us straight to a group therapy session at this point.
Elon Musk is the subject of an investigative report into his harem of baby mamas. The Wall Street Journal, of all places, published a bonkers account of Musk's efforts to seed the world in his own image. The story said he's been using his social media platform to recruit women to carry his children, and then he buys their silence with multi-million-dollar non-disclosure agreements. Who said romance is dead? You know, in the past that he believes declining birth rates are the greatest threat to humanity, which I'm not sure what planet Elon lives on. This one seems full to me. You ever go to Costco on a Saturday? Ever try to get out of the parking lot at Dodger Stadium? I think we're good on people. We have Musk reportedly told one woman when she was pregnant with his child that he needed to start making babies.
But the true comedy, as if the person who names their child after a Wi-Fi password should have the last say over what is funny. Kimmel's parody of Elon's attempt to outlaw humor was hilarious. In addition to Elon's frantic attempt to be cool, which is apparent in every tweet as he attempts to meme like the greatest 14-year-old on the internet, his character development is more akin to a mid-season plot twist gone tragically wrong. Kimmel reminded everyone in a lighthearted way that Elon wasn't always this dramatic. He used to be merely a person who dreamed about solar panels. Now, at 3 in the morning, he's out here insulting comedians and arguing with blue-tick jerks. Theoretically possible, but always terrible, it's like watching your father get stabbed at a wedding. Given that Elon's objectives are somewhat erratic, he may be revolutionizing energy one moment, then tweeting journalists' anime memes the next, while the cars over here are inadvertently running into emergency vehicles. Kimmel obviously enjoyed making fun of Elon's "how do you do fellow kids" attitude. Tesla was even dragged into this spectacle, which was weekly. Let's discuss freedom of speech in more detail, though.
It is believed that Elon has fathered at least 14 children, and based on this photograph, he may have given birth to them too. He's carrying a few around in his pouch like a kangaroo. Sources told the Journal they believe there could be more mini Musks out there. Many more mini Musks. You've heard of Alien versus Predator? Elon might be both of them. He has stated in the past that
Jimmy reminded the audience that it is peak billionaire performance art to say it'll save the world and then do nothing about it, and that heroic promise disappeared faster than your Uber Eats delivery during a thunderstorm. This also comically brought Musk's obsession with his own hype to light. Do you recall when Elon promised to spend $6 billion to end world hunger and then failed to deliver? Neuralink was even mentioned in passing. Since nothing says "trust me with your brain" like a man who rage boasts whenever someone makes fun of his hairline, Kimmel, who works for Musk's brain chip firm, suggested that if Elon wanted to improve humanity, he might start by improving his own processing chip. Kimmel's comparison of Elon's public decline to a reality show villain arc, where the character begins as a pleasant one, but ends up fighting with everyone and blaming the producers, just when you thought he could possibly add more fuel to the flames. Elon is turning like that guy's counterpart in the aid industry, but instead of being thrown off the island, he is buying it, renaming it X, and excluding everyone who doesn't agree with him. However, Kimmel's roast was successful because it was painfully accurate rather than because it was nasty. Elon Musk is turning into a parody of the visionary he claimed to be. Instead of laughing it off or even responding with a few self-deprecating remarks, he took it personally and called his public relations team at midnight.
childish behavior at the White House as of late. Axios said Elon Musk had an expletive-filled chest-to-chest shouting match outside the Oval Office with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent over who would run the IRS. Bessent reportedly confronted Musk in the hallway of the West Wing and, quote, the F-bombs started to fly, or at least that's what Pete Hegseth texted his wife and brother.
All of Musk's so-called visionary rhetoric reveals his grand ambitions to colonize Mars, save the world with electric cars, and turn Twitter into an untouchable utopia of free speech. Elon Musk is an enormous paradox in disguise. He is a mature man who gripes on Twitter whenever a late-night presenter makes fun of him, but he also wants to be hailed as the next Steve Jobs, transforming entire sectors. It's like seeing a man who is still learning how to tie his own shoes attempt to play chess. Kimmel was able to see straight through that brittle pride. What really sent Musk into a tailspin, according to Kimmel, was how Elon's relationship with free speech has become a hyper-cruel nightmare. It's almost poetic in its absurdity. Musk bought Twitter in an attempt to restore free speech, yet that freedom is instantly taken away the moment someone even marginally criticizes him. Like a high school prom queen, Musk's Twitter account is quick to admire the emperor's new outfit, but quick to ban anyone who tried to criticize it. Kimmel refused to tolerate such hypocrisy.
Of course, Elon Musk is a great believer in free speech as long as it isn't critical of him in any way. That's one of the things he and Trump have in common. Trump right now is suing 60 Minutes and CBS because he didn't like the way they edited an interview with Kamala Harris.
Musk came across as a disgruntled kid who didn't get his way in every tweet he sent after Kimmel's roast. Kimmel made sure the audience watched every minute of Musk's self-victimization performance, which took over his whole Twitter feed. Because of this, a billionaire who thought he could handle the attention quickly found that he couldn't even manage a late-night joke. The best part is that Kimmel used the entire situation as a societal commentary on the absurdity of Silicon Valley's fixation with invincibility, rather than just mocking Musk. The comedic gold resides in the fact that the man who once challenged humanity to reach Mars couldn't even take a few jokes about his space-age ambitions. Kimmel is destroying the universe Musk made for himself with ease, while Musk is out here attempting to construct new ones. Musk's reaction was nothing short of terrible. Rather than accepting the roast, he failed to laugh about it or even display any self-awareness. His supporters were inundated with angry tirades and passive-aggressive remarks as he instead resorted to his usual defensive, infantile outbursts. Musk, the tech whiz, was humbled by the man who used a microphone and a keen sense of humor to make a fortune by ridiculing everyone. Kimmel meant it that way. He had discovered the perfect balance between humor and truth, and Musk played right into it. It was almost intolerable to see this billionaire lose it like a power-hungry, over-caffeinated 15-year-old.
I haven't exactly seen Elon Musk or Donald Trump or Donnie Jr. correcting them and saying, oh my goodness, now that we read the facts of the story, certainly we feel terrible that we spread these vicious lies around, and we retract them and apologize to the Pelosi family.
In order to show the world that beyond the glamorous facade of SpaceX and Tesla, there is a man who is just as weak as the rest of us, if not more so. Kimmel did more than just make fun of Elon Musk. He also unveiled the emperor's new clothing. Even though Musk is extremely wealthy, it's clear that he can't handle the intensity of a late-night joke.